Well, there's even a saying, you chop off the snake's head and the snake will die.
That's exactly right. And so we tried to do that, but what we found is that's not what we saw. Instead, we were running into this network, this constantly shifting polymorph, I guess you'd call it. And what it did was it learned amazingly quickly. It could strike constantly. Every time you struck it, instead of being weakened significantly, it just adapted organically. And we thought, well, maybe this is this brilliant construct of this leader, Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. And what we realized, and we didn't at first realize this, we came to understand what it was, exactly what John Chambers had talked about. We were in an inflection point. And that inflection point was we were now in a different environment. It wasn't that Al-Qaeda was so smart, it was that suddenly they were empowered by information technology like no organization before, terrorist group or otherwise, had ever been empowered. So they had the DNA of something completely different, and it made them unbelievably successful because they were so fast and so different, and we were so imperfectly constructed to take them on. We started a journey to change Joint Special Operations Command in the middle of the fight for an organization that's very good, very self-confident, and not very interested in changing. And that became sort of the journey that I was a part of. I took over, and you want to have the theory that the leader comes in and they've got this amazing vision and they've got the wisdom to plot a perfect course, and all everybody's got to do is follow the leader and we'll do a conga line to excellence. And I didn't have a clue. The one thing I did know was we were losing. And you get in a meeting with people and you go, we're really having problems here, we need to change. And a bunch of people say yes, and then somebody in the room goes, let's not rush to failure. And I hate that person. I want to choke them. Because they sound really sage, they sound like the one adult in the room, because they're not going to let the headstrong leader take them in a bad way. And my response to him was, hey, we don't have to rush anywhere. We're failing right here. We can stay right here if we want. And what did I know? I knew what they told me. Really didn't know much more. I've been up all night. I'm not any smarter than anybody else. I'm zero value added to the decision, really. I'm supposed to have this great strategic understanding, but the reality is I didn't know more than they did if we share information well. So I said, why do you do this? And they said, well, we have to because that's our process. I said, our process, if I own it, stop it. And they said, well, you're responsible. I said, well, I'm always responsible, can't give that away. So just stop it. And what happened was, at first people said, well, everybody's going to be a lot less responsible. They're going to be a lot quicker, but they're going to be quick on the draw and they're going to make mistakes and we're going to have a great cost there. And I thought that was probably true. We got a lot faster, but we actually made fewer mistakes. We started getting better. And we started getting better because they own the decision. And if you think about it, if you go to your boss and your boss doesn't give you the answer but says, use your best judgment, let me know what happens, you walk out with a different sense of ownership. You really want to get it right. And that's what happened. And it was very, very effective for us. And so my role shifted dramatically. I shifted from making a lot of decisions to making almost none. And my role became sort of being the ringleader for this conversation across the command that now became lateral as well as vertical. And so information, and so my job was to make sure everybody was talking.
And getting people to ask the right questions.
Exactly. Getting people to see, getting people to know, getting people to know each other, crafting the ecosystem, and then letting the ecosystem work. Those who can identify the inflection point and move from this traditional look at how efficient can we be to how adaptable must we be tend to be the most successful. And the reality is, I've come to believe that 100 people is about the level in which you know everybody. And beyond that, you can call it a team, but it's not as I define it as a team. It's really something else. You start to have subordinate elements. People really identify with something other than the big. They identify with their subpart, their silo or whatever.
By the way, this is proven. The average number of people that will come to your funeral, if you're an average person, is about 100.
There you go. So. It'd be about 30 for me, but and so the concept of teams is when you scale to get the kind of synergy that you need, you've got to get the connections between the subordinate teams, the various teams, almost like between individuals on a small team. And there are a number of things you do to do that, and information technology can help in a big way with that now. But you've got to create that to be able to scale. And if you can't scale, you can't be adaptable at this point.